Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan Koreksha Sharana Bandhana.
By the order and blessings of my senior God brothers and senior devotees, I've been asked to speak something today. I'm a little humbled because usually the biggest audience I speak to is 30 to 50 people. So now I'm on the spot. This very sacred place, the house of Kashinath Mishra, where Lord Chaitanya resided, here in this very tiny room, about the same size as the room Maharaj takes in Mayapur, 108 Gada building. In the future, who knows what will happen to that room. And it was here that Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wound up his pastimes, and here, from this place, he exhibited the highest spiritual emotions possible in this very place. So we'd like to speak something around spiritual emotions. I think by the looks of some of your shining faces, you've probably experienced some spiritual emotions, especially Jagannath Rath Yatra time. I was observing with binoculars who was beaming, who was crying. So that ecstasy, that happiness that we feel, that spiritual happiness, it's actually bhava. Even on the sadhana stage, sometimes we experience this spiritual emotions. So this is a gift. Is a gift from where, from who, how, why. We can't say for sure, but if you experience sometimes, but you know it's for real. Once you experience this, even for a few moments. And there's His Holiness Sachinanda Maharaj mentioned yesterday, this is necessary in order to keep us going on the path of sadhana. Because if we don't taste, if we don't actually experience something, some bliss, which everyone is looking for, then how will we continue? So that is why that is gifted to us on occasion, that you can actually feel these spiritual emotions. So even on the very beginning platform of sadhana, so that is Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and here, as I said, this is here exhibited the highest spiritual emotions imaginable. How this happens upon us, we don't know. Just one time we was in a very ecstatic kirtan in Mayapur in Srila Bhaktivinoda's house, Gopinath time. I was watching one devotee who was feeling great ecstasy. And he was trying to control himself. He was trying to control the tears. He was fighting that. So I was thinking, why aren't I getting that? And it was ecstasy, because I asked him afterwards. He confirmed. He said, I didn't feel like that for a long time. Wow. So, in the same place, at the same time, someone can be feeling ecstasy, and others, we don't get it. Huh? But it's happening in the same place, the same time. So how is that? I don't know. But anyway, we say that it's actually a gift. Huh? And a necessary gift at that. Just like you don't know, when we go in the ocean, you don't know what the next wave is going to be like. Right? Chandras, yesterday he went for a swim last night. The ocean ripped away his Brahmin thread. And today he went for a swim and it ripped away his t-shirt in half a moment. Gone. I said, you better be careful next time you go for a swim. Who knows what you'll come out with or without. So these spiritual emotions, actually what we're all hankering for. Huh? Mahaprabhu says, let me taste for the full nectar for which we are always anxious. Huh? The pure devotees, the pure unalloyed devotees, they say, I don't want anything. I don't want this, I don't want that. Because when you're at that stage of actually saying, I don't want this, I don't want that, na janam, na dhanam, na sundaram, when you're actually saying that from the heart, you're already getting it. Otherwise, you wouldn't say it from the heart. But because that is a realization. I don't want that. You won't want that because you got something better. So when we have this experience, then it's much easier for us to say hi, bye to Maya. Otherwise, very difficult. As we heard yesterday, very difficult. Impossible. Huh? Where your heart is, it's pleasure we're actually seeking. Huh? That is the nature of the soul. That the soul is, by nature, is Ananda. Satchitananda. Having forgotten that in the material world, we've forgotten who we are, what our relationship is, but we're in the subconsciousness, that lacking is felt, that lacking, that Ananda is actually what we want. Everyone is looking for that. But of course, Maya means that which is not. We're looking in the material world, through the material senses, identifying ourselves as a body for that Ananda. So that is a dream. That is called Maya. That which is not. It is not there. But it does exist. Obviously exists. Otherwise, why is everyone searching for it? So there's evidence that of the soul is bliss. And another evidence is that the soul is eternal, that nobody wants to die. And nobody likes to be in ignorance. They're all natural phenomena. It's natural. It's unnatural to be unhappy. It's unnatural not to be blissful. It's unnatural to get old and sick and die. That is why 100% of the population thinks the same way, if they're okay. But we can only talk about this, but it's actually an emotion that we experience. Actually, you can't talk about it. It says the very nature of prema is that when you try to analyze, it disappears. So you can't. So if you're ever feeling some spiritual emotions and you start to think about it, it goes away. Right? Because you want to analyze the situation, what's going on, how it happened, where it come from, what is this wonderful phenomenon, then you bring it in the intellect. Then the intellect is dry. There's no rasa in the intellect. There's no bhava in the intellect. It's just reasons. The intellect, the bhava is in the mind, which is situated in the heart. That is where you're thinking, feeling and willing. So that feeling is there, done in the heart. So even at that time, the thinking and willing is also not there. As soon as the mind starts to think and will something else, then you're out of that situation again. You're out of that feeling. You've brought something else into that moment of just feeling or experience. And then it goes away. So that is the nature of that. And bhava is the preliminary stage of prema. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing his pastimes to teach us. He's teaching us how to surrender to Krishna, how to love Krishna. And he stayed here for the last 18 years of his life. He attended the Rath Yatra festival every year, most years, and exhibited great pleasure in dancing and chanting. And he's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the chapter The Lord's Dancing at Rath Yatra, how the Lord would dance in such a way, and such ecstatic emotions would appear on his body that all of the 8 ecstatic features, sometimes more, would appear simultaneously on his body. They said they were like 2 opposing armies staging a battle on his body, because everything was going on at the same time. Huh? It means when the spiritual emotions get so intense that your material body doesn't know what to do. That is why your body will shake sometimes, and that is why tears will come up in your eyes, because the body can't handle this thing. It's not used to this, this amount of pleasure, emotion. So they said after a while and Mahaprabhu was enjoying very nicely with all of the devotees. Then his mood changes, and he asked Sri Damodar Goswami to sing. And Sri Damodar Swami Goswami, understanding the mind, the power of Lord Chaitanya, begins to sing. Huh? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, it's not possible to understand the mind of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he thinks one thing and he says another, or he says one thing and he does another. He thinks one thing, he does another. So how come? But here we see actually a few devotees actually could understand the mind of Lord Chaitanya, but they're not ordinary devotees. They're his personal closest attendants in the Apricot Leela, Sri Vrindavan Dham. The chief gopis are Sarup, Damodar, and Rai Rama. So he understood. Then he would sing something exactly according to what Lord Chaitanya's mood, to facilitate that mood. I'd like to just read this. We know that Lord Chaitanya comes in the mood of Srimati Radharani to experience his devotees' love for himself, Krishna. He can't understand how his devotees feel so much ecstasy in serving his feet. And so the only way he can find out is to become a devotee. Huh? This is intelligence. So he becomes a devotee, he becomes the best devotee. Srimati Radharani. So assuming her complexion and mood, he appears. So after abandoning his dancing, the Lord ordered Swarup Damodar to sing. Understanding his mind, Swarup Damodar began to sing as follows. In English. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. So this song refers to Srimati Radharani's meeting with Krishna at Kurukshetra, when the Brijbasis came to Kurukshetra for the lunar eclipse. Then they met Krishna again there, and they were expressing their desire to bring him back to Vrindavan, because here solar eclipse. Because here, although you are the same person, I am the same person, you're the same boy, I am the same girl, this is the same moon at night of Chaitra, the same. But it's not the same here. It's not Vrindavan. Here you're surrounded by cavalry, horses, chariots, so much, have all your royal dress on. It's not the same. We can't express ourselves freely here. That is why it says Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Because outside of Vrindavan he can't act as Krishna, the son of Nandan. He can't act in such an intimate way. So that's why Srila Prabhupada says Krishna stays in Vrindavan and he's Bhava Prakash, and he's emotional form where the devotees associate with him there, because Krishna is not different from thoughts of him. So then Mahaprabhu would begin to enact this pastime with Jagannath, and Jagannath would reciprocate. So sometimes, it says there was a sort of competition between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath in seeing who would lead. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strong that he made Jagannath wait in his car. So this is what the mood that Lord Chaitanya was relishing, the internal mood, which only one or two persons could actually understand. Otherwise everyone was enjoying. Jagannath is there, just like we are. Jagannath is there, the festival is there, the Maharajas are there, Kirtan is there, we're having a great time. Right? That's one level. It's one level of Krishna consciousness. Here you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was enjoying something more deeper than that. He's actually taking that mode that Krishna, let's go back to Vrindavan, then we can really enjoy it. Then we can really enjoy your presence in Vrindavan. We can do all the things that we used to do, what we can't do here. And it's mentioned in the purport here, and Srila Prabhupada is quoting Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada in his Anubhashya, that this competition, that sometimes Lord Chaitanya was in front, sometimes Lord Jagannath was in the front. He says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is following in the rear of the Rath, indicated that Lord Jagannath Krishna was forgetting the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Although Krishna neglected the inhabitants of Vrindavan, he could not forget them. Thus, in his opulent Rath Yatra, he was returning to Vrindavan. In the role of Srimati Radharani, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was examining whether the Lord still remembered the inhabitants of Vrindavan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell behind the Rath cart, Jagannath Dev, Krishna himself, understood the mind of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Jagannath sometimes fell behind the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to indicate to Srimati Radharani that he had not forgotten. So this is the esoteric meanings of the dealings with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath. Thus Lord Jagannath would stop the forward march of the Rath and wait at a standstill. In this way Lord Jagannath agreed that without the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani he could not feel satisfied. So this way they used to go on and on. So then Mahaprabhu would be singing and speaking to Lord Jagannath very deep, meaningful prayers. He's saying here, there is not even a drop of the ocean of transcendental happiness that I enjoyed with you in Vrindavan. Everyone was in ecstasy. Even Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. But here he's saying, there's not a drop of the happiness that it was in Vrindavan. So how much ecstasy we felt for pulling the rod. There's so much more. There's so much more. Much more layers to go. We can achieve the realm of Vrindavan consciousness. Therefore I request you, come to Vrindavan, enjoy pastimes with me. If you do so, my ambitions will be fulfilled. Okay. So in that ecstatic mood, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited many other verses, but people in general could not understand their meaning. So who could understand the mind of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as a devotee? Who could ever fathom such an esoteric move by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to appear as a devotee? That so many people saw Lord Chaitanya, but only the ones he revealed himself to could actually understand. Only the pure devotees could actually understand who he was. Even Bhagavan Sri Krishna, when he appeared 5,000 years ago, many people saw him face to face, but still, their misfortune, their hearts didn't melt, and they never understood his actual position. So not such an easy thing. Pure devotion, pure devotional service. But Lord Chaitanya has made the process very simple. He's come here in this mood, intoxicated mood, and performs his pastimes to show the world a very simple way to actually love Krishna, to know Krishna and to love Krishna. He wanted to deliver the whole world, every living entity. And we have to understand the more we understand about Krishna, his personality, then we realize actually what a wonderful personality he is, what a wonderful person that Krishna actually is. There's no comparison. But the way he acts is sometimes seemingly contradictory. Why he leaves Vrindavan? Everyone's in complete distress. Right? They stop eating. They practically can't live without him. They'll give up their lives, especially Srimati Radharani, others, Mother Yasoda. They would like to give up their lives. But she's thinking, if I give up my life, Krishna said he will come back very soon. If I give up my life, which I want to, and Krishna comes back, and he finds I give up my life, he'll be so upset. He'll think it's his fault. And he'll be so upset, I'll cause him so much suffering, so I can't do that. I cannot live and I cannot die. This is the intense mood of the residents of Vrindavan. And even we see in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, when he left Navadvip, it was a thunderbolt that he was actually going to leave Navadvip. Our devotees were crying and falling at his feet, begging him, please don't go, please don't go. Why are you leaving? We're having such a nice time here. All your devotees are here, the Saji is here. We're enjoying kirtan every night. It's a perfection. We're just sitting around it, discussing the whole night the topics and chanting the names of God. This is our perfection. Please don't go. Mahaprabhu said, I have to go. I have to get this prema. I have to get this love. of God, then when I find it, I would come and give it to you all and everyone. They said, no, don't go, please don't go. They were begging. Their hearts were breaking that Lord Chaitanya had to leave. They said, if you leave, you can go. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are supremely independent. You may go. But know for sure that as soon as you go, Mother Sachi will die, followed by Vishnu Priya, and followed one by one, all the devotees will just leave their body. There was so much love for Lord Chaitanya, so much heartbroken that he was leaving. And Mahaprabhu also, he was heartbroken to have to hear this and to have to leave them. Actually, he was suffering more than they were at the fact that he was having to leave his devotees. His heart was also breaking. He's acting as a devotee. So he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever he does is the best. So when he's a devotee, he's the best devotee. He loves his devotees so much, his heart is cracking when he has to leave. He can't tolerate. But for the sake of us, he leaves that wonderful situation. Just like Krishna leaves the spiritual world, for our sake, that wonderful place, Vrindavan, where every word is a song, every step is a dance. He's comfortable with his flute. And everyone and everything there is fully in love with Krishna. Love is the ambience in Golok Vrindavan. And Hare Krishna mantra is the theme song, which is always playing by the bumblebees and the birds and the cuckoos and the swans and the wind and the leaves. And everyone and everything has a loving relationship with Krishna. And Krishna reciprocates with everyone every day. And every entity there, even the non-moving entities, like the stones and the trees, Krishna reciprocates with them. Well, they're so pleased that when Krishna passes, they put their best fruits and flowers. And if Krishna steps on a stone, the stone will become soft. And if it's a little warm, the stone will be cool. If it's a little cool, then it will become warm. So like this reciprocation is going on there. But he leaves that place. Why? Why he should come to this place? Mratyaloka, for you and me. In other words, we have dragged Krishna from Vrindavan. Not dragged him, but out of his love and compassion for us, he's left that wonderful place and come here. So you should think, because of me, because I'm such a rascal, and I won't surrender to Krishna, he's left that wonderful, wonderful place and come here just to deliver us by performing his wonderful pastimes here, that we can maybe attract it. What a wonderful person. Would you do that? Huh? Would you do that? If you had a ticket to the heavenly planets even, you'd jump on and without looking round, bye-bye, go. But Krishna is completely unselfish. That is the difference. So when we hear about the personality of God, then in that light, then our own failures magnified. Our own shortcomings, our own selfishness is magnified when we hear about his wonderful personality. So Lord Chaitanya told his devotees, why are you saying this to me? Why are you torturing me like this? What kind of love is this? You're all saying you love me. But if you love me, it means you'll do what I want to do. I have to go. I have to get this prema and spread it for everyone, give it to everyone. What is this? What kind of love is that? You're saying don't go because we have a nice scene, we have a nice family scene here. We get a nice party. Every night we're enjoying kirtans and... What about the... So he left that wonderful atmosphere for us, for you and me. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, same thing. And he said, I was very happy in Radha Damodar Temple, Vrindavan. Retired from family life, business. Happy sitting there at the lotus feet of the Smarty, Srila Rupa Goswami. But he said, very happy, satisfied, doing his bhajan. But he left at the time of retiring for anyone else. Now I've done my work, at that time, he left that place where he was very, very satisfied and came to a terrible place. No association. He had to create association. Uncivilized people. Less than the fourth class of the civilized people. Outside of that. So that's selflessness, for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of Guru. That sacrifice is there. And if other people took that same cue, well, this world will be a different place. Look what Srila Prabhupada did. So there are hundreds of sadhus, thousands. If they all did that, if they all took the same message of the Lord to heart and acted sincerely, the world may be a different place. So you say that look, Lord is not actually cruel. Some people say that God is cruel, why He allows this to happen, why... It is not. Or even His great devotees. He puts them into so much distress. But He doesn't... They may be in distress, but this is also a lesson for us. This is another reason we can feel bad. That the Lord performs His pastimes, and He puts His devotees into so much distress that they're almost giving up their lives from separation and other ways. Why? There are many reasons for the Lord's pastimes. They are multi-leveled, multi-layered. Because only the pure devotees, the pure unalloyed devotees, can pass the test that Krishna puts them through. And their pastimes are left for us to discuss and hear about the one pastimes of the Lord and His devotees, how His devotees tolerated everything. So that they set the standard. How can we complain? Look what Srila Prabhupada did at 70. Look what Haridas Thakur tolerated. So many examples are there. For what? For our benefit. So there always be the pure devotees, the acharyas, they come and they set the example to the highest degree that actually you can't even come up to that stage. How is it possible? To be as tolerant as Haridas or as austere as Raghunath Das or as learned as Rupa Sanatan. They're there. The incidents are there. The histories are there to show these are realities that these people went through. For our benefit, most of these people are siddhas. For our benefit, that we won't complain or become complacent. I've done so much already. No, I can. Because we can't come near these great acharyas and devotees. So the pastimes are very deep. One reason is that we can't understand the pastimes. Therefore, why Krishna would do such a thing? Why Mahaprabhu would do such a thing? In this way, we whet our appetite to why? If he's God, he's all good, all love, this is what we've heard, why? So then we go and find out why, then we have to go to the devotees. This way we come into the association of the pure devotees. That is our fortune, that is our good luck. We get the association of, because only the pure devotees can answer our questions satisfactorily. So we have to find a pure devotee if you want to know why Krishna acts in such a way. We have this question because we think if I was God, I would do it like this. Why he does like this? I can't understand. Right? We already think anyway we're God. But be a little humble. If I was God, why would he? I wouldn't make everyone suffer. I wouldn't make my devotees suffer. Actually, if you was God, you'd be sitting on a very nice seat with everyone running around you smiling and bringing presents, isn't it? And you'd be enjoying so nicely. Krishna, he's running around to serve his devotees. What a wonderful person. How can he compete with that? He's not interested in that position. He's chasing after the service for his devotees. That's Vrindavan. When Krishna wake up as a boy, Mother Yashoda, wake up, Krishna. Why are you sleeping so late? And why have you got Balaram's dhoti on? He's wearing... Krishna's yawning. If you don't get up, you know all the men are at the Goshala. The cows are not giving it. They won't give milk till they see you. And the men are in anxiety, they're in distress, they can't milk the cows. The cows won't give milk until you come. Immediately he jumps up, oh, I'm putting my devotees in distress? Cows are in distress? For me? Quickly, wash your hands and run away. All the cows are looking down and then their tails go up and the milk comes out. So that's Krishna. Then he comes back and takes his bath and eats nicely. Would you do that? What a wonderful person. So this very sacred place now is where the Mahaprabhu closed these earthly pastimes in a very heart-rendering way, which is difficult to understand. But actually, in these final days that he spent here, he becomes so much absorbed in Vrindavan. Prabhupada said Vrindavan is a consciousness. Dham is a state of mind. become so much absorbed in that that he completely forgot. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. They weren't there anymore. Externally, he used to behave very strangely. Devotees didn't like it. Sometimes in separation, he would rub his face on the floor. Completely oblivious. He couldn't recognize his dearmost devotees. They were shocked. How would you feel? If Maharaj slipped into ecstasy and stayed there. Hare Krishna Maharaj, no smile, no Haribol, no embrace. Only Krishna, Krishna. Those of the time, they didn't recognize any of the devotees anymore. They were heartbroken. So this was the final lesson. Sooner or later, you have to leave everything behind. Of course, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, it's actually a reality, because they're all siddhas. But for common people like me, then this is a temporary situation that we're going through. We have these relationships according to the body, that's all we can identify with. Therefore we become heartbroken. So at this very final stage, he was exhibited the stage of Mahabhav, which is not possible for an ordinary human being. Only Mahaprabhu, Srimati Radharani, can experience this to the level that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed. It's not possible for a human being. So what more could he teach? He taught. He taught the Yuga Dharma. He taught compassion and love for all of the living entities. He taught surrender to God. He taught service to God. Simply for the price of faith, he gave that. Then over and above that, he gave the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a friend, as a son, as a lover, which is never heard of before. That is what he gave. And still giving. So he had nothing more to teach. Nobody could understand. Nobody could learn anything more. He was just absorbed in Mahabhava, oblivious to everyone and everything. But what was the use of him staying any longer? He wasn't reciprocating with anyone. Simply Vrindavan. So this is what he is. So specifically that gift he has came to give, this service to Krishna in Shakya, Vatsala and Dasya Madhurya, specifically those last three. So he's given this, he gave everything for anyone and everyone. Gave the process how to get that. Simply chant the holy names of Krishna and give up any ideas of trying to enjoy out of control in this life, this world, knowing it as a phantasmagoria. But there is no shelter here. It's a temporary place where we're changing body after body. There's no, wherever you go within the universe, there's no permanent rest for the soul. So once you give up these trying to find a nice situation and trying to enjoy it. If you get those two things, then you're eligible for love of God. It's not such a difficult thing. That's all he's asking. If we hear it, associate with the devotees who are practicing it, then we can also be inspired to actually make that step. And then we can appreciate the moods of Lord Chaitanya, the Vrindavan consciousness, what goes on there. This is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So it's available. It's here, right now, in this room. We just have to access it. So that's what Lord Chaitanya, Gohari came. He came to give love of himself with Krishna. They all lovely, sweet, enchanting Nandanandan, who sometimes leaves Vrindavan and becomes God. But that very same Nandanandan, that very same Krishna, he is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He personally comes here. He's the avatari. So when we associate with the devotees, pure devotees, we can attain higher levels of consciousness or reasons, or Krishna consciousness comes in layers. Or conversely, the false ego, the layers of the false ego start to peel off as one associates with the devotees, performs the congregational chanting Hare Krishna, takes Mahaprasad and performs all those devotional activities. So this is what happens, and this is what it actually executes the change of heart. And when now, by the association with the devotees, then and hearing these different viewpoints of the pastimes of Krishna, because there's many ways to look at it. If I'm holding a diamond here, and there's a light, some of you will say it blue, some of you will say it orange, some will say it yellow, some will say it red, some will say it violet, right? According to the light, according to your perspective. So Krishna's like that. According to your perspective of him, he will reveal himself to you. And if we change our perspective on Krishna, if we move into a higher level, then automatically your whole life will change perspective also. Your thinking, feeling and willing in material world will also change perspective when you change your goal. The more we appreciate Krishna, so our paradigm changes, our goal changes. This is another aspect of Krishna's personality, which is endearing me more and more to Krishna, that he is the supreme personality. He is the most wonderful personality. There is no comparison. And they will become more endeared to Krishna. And then automatically your whole lifestyle will change, because your goals have changed. Your thinking, feeling, willing have changed. Your subtle body is directed in a different layer. That is Krishna consciousness. So we're fortunate to be able to hear these things from the great devotees and to sit with them and be with them and have us have them lead us around the holy places where Lord Chaitanya performed his pastimes. So I thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak something about Krishna consciousness. Sri Gambhira ki jai, Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Louder please. Hariva Gaura Premanandi. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Everybody, Haribo, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Gaura Premanandi. After Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left for South India, the king of Orissa, Prataparuja Maharaj, approached Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. I have heard that a great saint from Bengal has come to Puri Dham and is having a tremendous influence in people's lives. Do you know anything about him? Can you arrange an interview for me with him? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya answered that yes, he is a great king. I mean, he is a great saint. But he has already left Puri for a trip to South India. The king asked, well, if he's such a great saint, then why did you let him leave? Why didn't you somehow or other keep him here? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, this is the nature of great Vaishnavas. They travel from place to place often to purify the people of those places. Wherever the great Vaishnavas go, all the holy places are contained within their feet. They can even sanctify the holy places. Therefore, sadhus travel for the benefit of the conditioned souls of this world. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I had no power to stop him because he is the supreme independent personality of Godhead who acts at all times according to his own pleasure. King Prataparuja heard this for the first time. And he said, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, I know that you are a great scholar of the scriptures with very high realizations. I know, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you do not take anything lightly. You are very serious, and you do not accept anything unless it is very deeply authorized. If you say that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, then I wholeheartedly accept it with complete faith. But when will he return? My life will only be successful if for a moment I could meet with him. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, I will try my best to arrange a meeting, but because he's a sannyasi, he doesn't meet with materialistic persons. It will be very difficult, but still I will try. In fact, I heard he's returning very soon. Previously, he stayed in my house, but it is not a suitable place for him. If you, dear king, could arrange a place for him to reside, that would be of a great service. Such a place should be close to Jagannath temple, but at the same time should be quiet, solitary, and with all arrangements for his needs. Maharaj Pratapa, he told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, I know the perfect place, the house of Kashi Mishra. I will make all the arrangements. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told Kashi Mishra the king's idea, Kashi Mishra was jubilant with gratitude that the Lord would be staying in his house. Soon after, Lord Chaitanya returned after about 2 years of traveling to the southern and western provinces of India. He was met by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Nityananda Prabhu and others, and brought by the hand to here. Kashi Mishra welcomed him. He offered his prostrated obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and with tears of love in his eyes, he said, My Lord, today I surrender my life and all of my property to you. Because he surrendered everything with such sincerity. Lord Chaitanya manifested his four-arm form before Kashi Mishra in reciprocation with his love. From that day, Lord Chaitanya resided here in a small room just behind Kashi Mishra's home, and that room is called the Gambhira. All the residents of Puri wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya. They were so much eager for his return. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was introducing them one by one, the pujaris, the priests, Bhavananda Rai, the father of Ramananda Rai. It's such a beautiful story, but it would take at least 12 hours to tell. To tell it in full, Ananta Shesha cannot explain with his 1,000 mouths, even for the extent of a lifetime of Brahma. Hare Krishna. It's just not enough time. But soon here in Paramananda Puri arrived. Lord Chaitanya met him at Rishab Hill and said, please come and live with me in Puri. And Purushottamacharya, a dear friend of Lord Chaitanya from Navadvip, after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Purushottamacharya became mad and he just ran away from home and took sannyas. Just in a complete state of madness. And he accepted the name Swarup Damodar Goswami. And he came here to Gambhira and fell at the lotus feet of the Lord and surrendered his life. Lord Chaitanya, seeing him as his most intimate, loving associate, requested Swarup Damodar Goswami to remain with him always. Soon after that, Ramananda Rai came from South India and surrendered his life to be an associate of Lord Chaitanya here. One day, Govinda came, the personal servant of Lord Chaitanya's Guru, Ishwara Puri. He said, I have come on the order of my Guru to be your personal servant. Now, Lord Chaitanya really observed the etiquette of respect to Vaishnavas very carefully. He said, how? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you are expert at the Vedic scriptures, etiquette, culture, and all the intricacies. Please, tell me how it's possible for me to accept as my servant that holy man who was the personal servant of my spiritual master. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, in matters of etiquette, the precedent is the order of the spiritual master. It is very powerful. Ishvara Puri has instructed him to be your servant. So how can you refuse? So at that time, Lord Chaitanya accepted Govinda as his own personal assistant. Kal Krishna Das traveled with Lord Chaitanya when he was in South India. But somehow or other, although he was a very obedient and well-behaved servant, he was captured by Maya one day, by the Badaharis. He was somehow or other seduced by this tantric tribe of false sadhus through beautiful young women. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Badaharis and grabbed Kal Krishna by the hair and dragged him back. And these tribal people, they attacked Lord Chaitanya with their tantric rites. They were chanting mantras and they picked up weapons. But the weapons jumped out of their hands and started cutting off their own limbs, and they were screaming and running. So here at Gambhira, Lord Chaitanya told Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda Dat, Jagadananda Damodar Pandit, what to do with this Kal Krishna. He has abandoned me when he was supposed to be serving me. Now he can go anywhere he wants. He is released from any service to me as of today. And he walked out of the room. It's very harsh. For Kal Krishna Das, who loved Lord Chaitanya, this was worse than death. Being rejected by the Lord. To have no service. For a devotee, you take away service, you take away their life. have to suffer just by your prayer. A lot of people in line. Yes, if you see it. Was brought hundreds and hundreds of bags of prasad by the devotees of Bengal. One year, the devotees and their wives, they cooked so many preparations, just the preparations that Lord Chaitanya liked. And Gambhira, Lord Chaitanya told Govinda to do the other. The devotees, they would also cook here. Srivas Thakur's wife, Mani, she cooked so many preparations and brought it to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya. Acharya cooked so many preparations with his wife Sita Thakurani, put it in the other room. 4 months went by. And all the preparations everybody made for almost 4 months was still in the room. It was a mountain. It practically filled up the whole room. Prasad. Govinda was feeling very uncomfortable. He said, "My Lord, with all respect, whenever they offer you, they ask me how you like it. I don't want to hurt their hearts. I don't know what to say to them. I can't just tell them it's just sitting in the room for the last 3 months. And I can't lie to them either. What should I do?" Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, bring it all in." An entire room full of prasad. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate everything. Except for the bags of Raghava Pandit. He took only one little part and he said, "For the rest of the year, give me a portion of what they have prepared." And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the prasad cooked by Damayanti and Raghava Pandit for 1 full year, and every preparation tasted as fresh as if it was prepared seconds before, by the Lord's potency, and especially by Damayanti and Raghava Pandit's devotion. Their devotion kept the prasad perfectly fresh. Even sabjis. A year later, no problem. Yes, and it was here in the Gambhira that at the end of 4 months, after celebrating Ratha Yatra and having so many personal loving exchanges, doing Nam Sankirtan throughout the day, every day, that Lord Chaitanya would bid farewell to each of his devotees, give them instructions. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas when he was 24 years old. From then, he made his base in Puri. The Madhya Lila is 6 years when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although based in Jagannath Puri, sometimes traveled through South India, sometimes to Bengal, and once he traveled to Vrindavan. The last 18 years of his manifested Leela, he never left Jagannath Puri. And especially the last 12 years of Lord Chaitanya's Leela, he was intimately absorbed in the ecstasies of Radharani's love. Of course, he manifested that love from the time he took initiation from Ishwara Puri, when he was less than 20 years old. However, the last 12 years of his life, he was so deeply immersed in that love in separation that practically his constant companions were Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains the significance of Lord Chaitanya's Antya Leela as it is revealed in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He explains that during the last years of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Swarup Damodar Goswami was his personal assistant. And he recorded a diary describing all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in brief. Now here in Gambhira, Raghunath Das Goswami left his home in Krishnapur of Adi Saptigram, a multimillionaire, the only heir of the fortune of his entire family. A wife as beautiful as an angel. He was young, he was handsome, he had prestige, popularity, immense wealth, luxuries, comforts, but he escaped with great difficulty and walked barefoot through the jungle for about 12 days to come to Puri to surrender his life in the renounced order to Lord Chaitanya. It was here in Gambhira that historical event took place. Lord Chaitanya entrusted Raghunath Das Goswami to the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami. He said, now I have 3 Raghus. Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Vaidya, and Raghunath of Swarup Damodar Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami was the personal assistant of Lord Chaitanya's personal assistant. Whatever notes Swarup Damodar Goswami wrote, he explained in great detail to Raghunath Das Goswami, who made elaborate diary. And therefore, the information that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami received from Raghunath Das Goswami was not elaborations. There was no poetic license to enhance the stories. It was the facts that were seen by eyewitnesses and written. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that these final pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, he accepts as fact with complete faith. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. Radha Bhava Duti Subalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam, who has appeared with the luster and the devotional sentiments of Srimati Radharani. There are 3 internal and 3 external reasons why the Lord appeared in this world. The internal reasons was Krishna wanted to taste the sweetness of Radharani's love. He wanted to understand what it was about him that attracted her ecstasies and what the happiness was she felt in tasting the sweetness of his love. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that Lord Chaitanya's mood here in the Gambhira was identical to Srimati Radharani's mood after Krishna left Vrindavan with Akrura for Mathura. Love in separation. Therefore, Jagannath Puri is sometimes called Vipralamba Kshetra. It is the land of love and separation. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj explains so nicely that Jagannath is in his Mahabhava Prakash. We described that for those of you who were awake the first night. And for those of you who may be awake today, we'll explain it again. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Lord Krishna, in his ecstasies of separation from Radharani, the gopis, and the Brijabasis, entered into such a deep state of love that his eyes dilated, his limbs went into his body, Mahabhav Prakash. Because Krishna's heart and Krishna's body are one and the same. He was manifesting the intense ecstasies of love and separation through his bodily features. And here in Jagannath Puri, Lord Jagannath is manifesting such ecstasies of separation from Radharani. And Lord Chaitanya, who is Radharani, is revealing her Mahaprakash Bhava in separation from Krishna. Jagannath is crying for Radharani, and as Lord Chaitanya, Radharani is crying for Jagannath. It is the land of crying. That is Jagannath Puri. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed that the highest state of love of God is love in separation. And how that was revealed here in the Gambhira was such that has never been seen ever before in the history of creation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeling Radharani's love for Krishna after she was taken by Akrura to Mathura. Krishna, seeing his very dear devotee Uddhava, wanted to bless him. Because although Uddhava was considered the dearest, inseparable friend from Krishna in all of the Yadu dynasty, he never really tasted true love, the prema of the residents of Vrindavan. Krishna sent Uddhava with a message to Vrindavan for Nanda, Yashoda, the Gopas, the Gopis, and especially Srimati Radharani. He sent him because he knew that there is no possibility of tasting the love of Vrindavan without associating with the Gopis. Seeing his very dear devotee Uddhava, wanted to bless him. Because although Uddhava was considered the dearest, inseparable friend from Krishna in all of the Yadu dynasty, he never really tasted true love, the prema of the residents of Vrindavan. Krishna sent Uddhava with a message to Vrindavan for Nanda, Yashoda, the Gopas, the Gopis, and especially Srimati Radharani. He sent him because he knew that there is no possibility of tasting the love of Vrindavan without associating with the Gopis. Uddhava was a disciple of Brihaspati, the most powerful scholar on the planet. But it isn't through knowledge that one can taste true love. It is only by following in the footsteps of the Gopis of Vrindavan. Uddhava went to deliver his message, but what he saw transformed his heart. What was the nature of the love of the Gopis? In separation, he heard Srimati Radharani speaking to a crow that was flying overhead. Are you going to Mathura? Well, please tell your master Krishna my condition. I'm like a kept animal of your master. Now, if the house is on blazing fire, it's the duty of the master to let the animal out. Otherwise, he'll burn. Well, my body is like my house, and it's on a burning, raging fire of separation. And my soul is like an animal, but it can't escape. It can't get out. Why? Because the door is bolted by Krishna's words. He promised, I will return to Vrindavan. It is that anticipation, that expectation that Krishna will return that keeps us alive in this burning, blazing fire. Uddhava, let Krishna just either come back and save our lives, or just tell us he's not coming back so that we can give up our life. But why does he keep us in this blazing fire of separation? Radharani fell into a puddle and immediately she fell in water and immediately was evaporated. And that puddle was from her tears. She would cry tears and the water would go practically up to her ankles or knees. And then she would fall and faint, and the heat of her fever and separation would dry it in a second. Crying, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Has he forgotten us? Will he ever return? Uddhava was thinking, I live with Krishna. I eat with him, I sleep with him, I talk with him, I joke with him, I perform work with him. I'm always with Krishna. But I know why Krishna sent me to Vrindavan. To see what real love is. Seeing the nature of the gopis' love and separation, Uddhava came to the conclusion, I have no love. I am insignificant. I am nothing. I'm a disgrace. How can I even call myself a devotee? The only possibility of me attaining a drop of true love is for me to get the dust of the feet of the gopis. But how to do that? He's a royal prince of the Yadu dynasty, and the gopis are simple cowherd girls, not highly educated, just living in the village, carrying clay pots on their heads, milking cows, getting water from the wells and from the srovers. He did not want to embarrass them. They would never give the dust. He would not take it. Uddhava prayed from the core of his heart. And his prayer is revealed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me take my next birth as a blade of grass or a little shrub, a gulmalata, on the ground in the forest of Vrindavan. And then when the gopis, in their separation from Krishna, when they run into the forest like mad ladies, one of them may possibly step on my head with their lotus feet, and I will get the dust from their feet. Only then do I have a chance of understanding what real love of God is. That is the standard of Vaishnava. The intimate friend of Krishna, a royal prince of the Yadu dynasty, living in luxury and comfort, with no impediments in life, but he's willing to give it all up to be an insignificant blade of grass, to be stepped on by the gopis. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is in Gambhira experiencing that love of Srimati Radharani, the supermost gopi. And Radharani's two most intimate loving associates descended along with him. Lalita Saki appeared as Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Vishaka Devi appeared as Ramananda Rai. It is described in Srimati Radharani's love and separation from Krishna. What kept her alive was Lalita and Vishaka, chanting the praises, the pastimes, the names and the qualities of Krishna in her ears. And in the same way, this is what kept Lord Chaitanya alive. Kaviraj Goswami tells, to understand these transcendental transformations of love that Lord Chaitanya exhibited is only possible when one receives the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. It cannot be done through academic scholarship. It cannot be understood by memorization. It cannot be understood by severe tapasya. It cannot be understood by very, very devoted sadhana. All of these things are only meant for one purpose: to get the mercy of the Lord. It's not by chanting Hare Krishna that we'll know Krishna. It's by Krishna's mercy that we'll know Krishna. But Krishna tells us how to get his mercy, by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But it is not a mechanical process. We have to chant in such a way that attracts Krishna to be pleased with us, so that he will bestow his mercy. There's no other way. You can fast Nirjal on every Ekadasi. You can fast Nirjal on every Ekadasi and Dwadasi, and every Purnima, and every Amavasya, and every Chaturdasi, and every Chaturthi. You could drink a little water once a year, but you will not understand Krishna unless Krishna bestows his mercy upon you. You could chant 10 lakhs of names every day, which is impossible. But even if you did, If Krishna's not pleased with your efforts, all you'll get out of it is probably being tired and hungry. And you might even be bored. Krishna reveals the taste of the holy name when he's pleased with us. The whole process of bhakti is absolutely dependent on one thing: the mercy of the Lord. The jnanis, by their austerity, the jnanis, by their development of mental intellectual discrimination, the yogis, by their tapasya, by their concentration, they are trying to achieve spiritual realization. They could realize some lower phases, but love of God is not possible. Prema is only given by the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya, in the Gambhira, taught, Trinada Bisunichena, Tador Iba Sihishnana, Amanana Amanadena Kirtana. The Shikshastakam prayers, it's all that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote, and he wrote it here in Gambhira. It's begging for mercy. It's praying for mercy. It's living in such a way and acting and speaking so that Krishna will be pleased to give us his mercy. The transformations of Lord Chaitanya's ecstatic love can only be understood to one who Lord Chaitanya gives his mercy to. But still, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, even though this subject is like an ocean of nectar, anyone, even us, if we just try to hear it and try to explain it, we will be touched by a particle of a drop from that ocean and become purified. With your permission, I will try to explain something that Srila Prabhupada has given us in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lalita and Vishaka, in the form of Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar, were the constant associates of Lord Chaitanya. Swarup Damodar Goswami would exactly know the Lord's mind and his heart and sing beautiful kirtan just to pacify his heart. And Ramananda Rai, he also knew the Lord's mind so perfectly and would recite slokas from Srimad Bhagavatam or repeat words from Krishna Karnamrita, the poems of Vidyapati, Chandidas, or Jayadev Goswami, just according to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. That is service. Srila Prabhupada explains there are different types of servants. Some, they're told what to do, but they don't do it. That's what? Third-class servant. Second-class servant is told what to do and does it. First-class servant, you don't even have to tell him or her what to do. They know and they do it. Hare Krishna. But don't think you're first class unless you are. Because we have experience of premature first-class devotees. They create havoc in our lives. Better to ask. But when your love is at such a state, because now we're talking about service in love. When your love is in such a high state, it becomes one with the beloved. That was Gambhira. During the last 12 years of Lord Chaitanya, he was in such deep separation from Krishna. Sometimes throughout the day, he would just be crying with his arms around Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. Oh, where is Krishna? And they would taste the sweetness of beautiful pastimes as described in Srimad Bhagavatam of Krishna's Leelas. And at night, they would lay Lord Chaitanya down, and he would be loudly chanting the holy names through half the night. In fact, at that time, on one occasion, after Lord Chaitanya lay down, they locked the doors with bolts. There were 3 doors in Gambhira, for the Lord could not escape. and Ramananda Rai went home, Swarup Damodar Goswami and Govinda lay down at the doorway. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for hour after hour, loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Golokera Premadada Harinam Sankirtana. This is very significant. What did Srila Prabhupada give us? This Hare Krishna mantra is not just an ordinary mantra. When Srimati Radharani is in her highest peaks of ecstatic love and separation, she takes shelter of this mantra. And that was revealed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Gambhira. Swarup Damodar Goswami Govinda laid outside his room as all night long Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was loudly crying out, Suddenly there was no chanting. Swarup Damodar Goswami somehow or other looked in the room, opened the door. Lord Chaitanya was gone. How did he possibly escape? Nobody could understand. The doors were still closed and locked. Swarup Damodar Goswami called the devotees and with lanterns began searching throughout Puri in the darkness of the night. Then, on the northern side of the Singhadwaram, they saw Lord Chaitanya laying there. They were exuberant with joy. They found the Lord. They came running. But as they came close to him, their hearts were struck with moroseness to see the condition of Lord Chaitanya. He was laying there. His body was elongated to about 8 or 9 feet. Each of his joints was dislocated. His arms, legs, waist, neck, all joints dislocated, and between the 2 ends of the joint were 6 inches of nothing but hanging flesh. His hairs were standing on end. Foam was pouring out of his mouth, and his eyes were rolled up in his head. No one had ever seen ecstatic symptoms like this. They were shocked. They loudly chanted the name of the Lord in his ears, but nothing happened. So with great care, they picked up Lord Chaitanya's body and brought it back here to Gambhira. And there, the devotees, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Govinda, and the other Vaishnavas just gathered very close to Lord Chaitanya's ears. They were weeping. They didn't know how to deal with the Lord in this form. All they could do is loudly cry out the holy name. After a long time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened his eyes and said, Haribo! And suddenly all his limbs came back together and became normal. And he looked around in a half-external consciousness. Lord Chaitanya had 3 states of consciousness that he exhibited. When he went deep into ecstasy, he became completely oblivious to this material world and entered into the Vrindavan Leela totally. That is the manifestation of his deep ecstatic samadhi. And when he would be in his normal divine ecstasies, he was still in the moods of Radharani's love for Krishna, but he was able to deal with the external circumstances of this world. And when he was just coming out of his internal samadhi state, it is called half-external consciousness, where he would speak like a madman. He looked around, where am I? Why have you called me here? Where have you taken me? And he turned to Swarup Damodar Goswami very innocently and said, what happened? And Swarup Damodar Goswami had to explain to him the state he was in and how they had to carry him back. And Lord Chaitanya explained in one slight verse. He said, as I was laying here in my room, I saw Krishna. But then, like a flash of lightning, he instantly disappeared. Just as he said that, the conch shell blew to announce the morning arti for Jagannath, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees immediately went to the Jagannath darshan. Because of that conch shell, the world will never know what else happened in that vision. One night, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had the darshan of Lord Krishna. All of his 5 senses were totally conquered by Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explains, his eyes tasted the sweetness of Krishna's form. His ears tasted the sweetness of Krishna's flute. His nose tasted the sweetness of Krishna's fragrance. His touch tasted the sweetness of Krishna's body. His tongue tasted the sweetness of Krishna's flavor. In this way, these 5 tastes all took such prominent positions, it was as if they were battling one another in Lord Chaitanya's heart. And he would fall to the ground unconscious. And only Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai would know how to bring him to a state where he could again come to communicate with others. One night, they were reciting Krishna Lila and singing beautiful bhajans to Lord Chaitanya. And as half the night was ended, they laid Lord Chaitanya down in his Gambhira. Swarup Damodar Goswami returned to his home. Ramananda Rai returned to his home. Only Govinda laid outside the door. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the whole night was loudly crying out the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Suddenly, there was no chanting. Govinda would wake up when it was quiet. He could only sleep when Lord Chaitanya was chanting loudly. As soon as it was quiet, he woke up and he looked inside. All 3 doors were bolted shut, but Lord Chaitanya was gone. So he immediately ran to get Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami, actually, he was the one that opened the doors and saw that the Lord was gone. Govinda just heard that there was no chanting. He was worried. So again, they got their night lanterns and went out searching. They found Lord Chaitanya in a cowshed on the southern side of the Singadwaram. And what they saw took their breath away. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arms and legs retracted within his trunk, just like a tortoise withdraws its limbs within a shell. There were no arms, no legs. He was just like a pumpkin. But his hairs were standing on end. And there were big erupting bumps all over that pumpkin-like body. And tears were pouring out of his eyes incessantly. And foam was was emanating from his mouth. Foam and saliva. And his eyes were back in his head. What could they do? They lifted him up. They lifted up that pumpkin form and brought it back to the Gambhira and loudly chanted in his ears. Actually, this was Lord Chaitanya, another form of his Mahabhava Prakash. Just like Lord Jagannath, in his ecstasy of separation from Srimati Radharani, his arms and legs go into his body. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya, Radharani, in her separation from Krishna, her arms and legs withdrew within the body. After a long time of chanting Hare Krishna in his ears, Lord Chaitanya opened his eyes and said, Haribo, and looked around. Where am I? Where have you taken me? Why have you brought me here? What happened? And at that moment, all of his legs and arms came out, and he became normal. He said, I heard Krishna play his flute. That flute called me to the Vrindavan forest. There I saw Krishna in a pasture ground, calling Radharani and the gopis with his flute. He signaled to them to come, and Krishna led them into a forest bower. What I heard with my ears, the sweet sound of Krishna's flute, the sweet sound of the ornaments of the gopis, and then the sweet talking, joking, and laughing of Krishna with Radharani and gopis. And as I was enjoying those sweet sounds, all of a sudden I heard this tumultuous roar of all of you who took me from that place and brought me here. Why have you brought me here? Swarup Damodar Goswami explained the condition that they found him at the Singhadwaram on the southern side in a cowshed. They said, Lord, when we found you there, like a pumpkin, the cows were licking your body. And we tried to chase away the cows, but the cows were so addicted to smelling your fragrance that they wouldn't leave. So we had to take you away. Lord Chaitanya said, my ears, they are dying of hunger to hear nectar. Please save my life and speak the glories of Krishna. And Swarup Damodar Goswami sang a beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam describing Krishna's divine characteristics. These are just a few of the wonderful exhibitions of spiritual love that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has given us in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. One day, it was Sarat Purnima, the full moon night of the Ras Leela. They came out of Gambhira, and Lord Chaitanya with his associates were on the bank of the seashore near Ayatota, close to Gundicha Mandir. Lord Chaitanya saw the ocean and mistook it to be the Jamuna River. And we heard today how he saw Chatak Parvat as Govardhan Hill and ran to it with the speed of the wind. Well, when he saw the full moon glistening on the sea, mistaking it to be the Jamuna, he ran with the speed of the mind and fell unconscious in the Jamuna Sea. And there he was completely internalized in his meditation on Vrindavan Dham. Sometimes he was underwater for a long time, and sometimes the waves would just bring him up. He was just floating around, up and down, up and down. He went all the way toward the Konark temple, which is long distance away. The devotees suddenly realized, Lord Chaitanya's gone. Where is he? They were searching everywhere with lanterns. They searched throughout Puri. Maybe he's at Chatak Parvat. Maybe he's at Gundicha. Maybe he's at the Singhadwaram. They searched everywhere. They couldn't find him. Then as the night was coming to an end, they came to the horrifying suspicion that the Lord may have left the world. He may have put a close to his pastimes in this earth planet. Their hearts were breaking. Their life force was crippled. But just then, they happened to see a fisherman who was jumping around like a total madman, crying, Hari, Hari! Hari, Hari! Hari, Hari! Hari, Hari! The devotees had a suspicion. Swarup Damodar Goswami said, why are you so mad? He said, why, you are asking, you don't want to know. While I was fishing, I pulled in with my net. I thought it was a fish, but it was a dead corpse. I tried to push it out of my net, but I accidentally touched it. And as soon as I touched it, my hair stood on end. My body started erupting with emotions. Tears started coming out of my eyes. I became mad, and the only words that would come out of my mouth are, Hari, Hari. Hari, Hari. I know exactly that somehow or other a ghost has taken shelter within that dead corpse, and anyone who looks at that corpse, anyone who touches that corpse, the ghost haunts him. I'm on my way searching frantically for an exorcist who will save me. Because after all, I'm a family man. I have a wife and children to support. Who's going to take care of them if I die? But this ghost is very powerful, because I fish every night. And there's so many ghosts at night. But I chant the Narasingha mantra to protect myself and have never had any problem. But this particular ghost, every time I chant the Narasingha mantra, the power of his haunting me doubles. Swarup Damodar Goswami said, I am a famous exorcist. I will deliver you. And Swarup Damodar Goswami put one hand on top of his head, chanted some mantras, and slapped him 3 times. Said, now the ghost is gone, you are all right. And the man had faith. Swarup Damodar Goswami said, but can you tell me about that person? What that corpse? He said, yes, he's just laying in the sand. He said, that's Lord Chaitanya. The ghost, the fisherman, he said, I know the Lord, I have seen him. This is not the Lord. This is something really, really strange. You can't imagine the horrible form that I saw. Swarup Damodar Goswami said, no, this Lord Chaitanya looks like this sometimes when he goes into his spiritual emotions. Just take us to him. He said, but if you touch him, it may haunt you. No, take, this is him. So they saw Lord Chaitanya laying there. Again, his limbs were extended, disjointed, elongated. His body, because it was in the ocean for so long, was as white as a conch shell. Foam in his mouth, hair standing on end, and every limb was just covered with sand. First the devotees, they lifted him up and they bathed him. And then they took his wet cloth off and put on dry cloth. And then loudly they chanted the holy name. Lord Chaitanya came to consciousness. Haribo. Where am I? Why have you brought me here? I was in the river Jamuna in Vrindavan. And I was observing Krishna playing with the gopis, performing beautiful pastimes surrounded by fragrant lotus flowers, singing wonderful songs and laughing in bliss. And suddenly I heard this tumultuous sound. And you brought me here. Lord Chaitanya as a sannyasi lived so simple. He would just sleep on the hard floor directly for years. But because of his love and separation, sometimes his body would become very thin, and his limbs would be bruised. So Jagadananda Pandit, he made a nice quilt for Lord Chaitanya and told Govinda, please give this to the Lord. But the Lord, when he saw it, he said, who has given this? He said, Jagadananda Pandit. Lord Chaitanya became very quiet. He said, take it away. Next he'll want to give me a masur and everything else. I am a sannyasi. I must live a simple life. He was very strict. But Swarup Damodar Goswami was very intelligent. He took some banana bark and shredded it very fine and took Lord Chaitanya's own outer covering and made a nice little mat. And Lord Chaitanya, for the pleasure of the devotees, accepted that. But what to do? Even though all 3 doors of Gambhira were bolted, still he would escape at night. So they had a plan. They guarded the doors. But then Lord Chaitanya, he would sometimes scrape his face against the walls. So they got the brother of Damodar Pandit, whose name was Shankar Pandit, and requested him to stay inside the Gambhira with Lord Chaitanya every night, all night, just to make sure Lord Chaitanya did not go anywhere. Now you see how small that Gambhira is? Can you imagine the good fortune of Shankar Pandit? But it's also a very intense service. Think about it. Being in that Gambhira with Lord Chaitanya when he was manifesting his transcendental madness of ecstatic love all night, every night. But Shankar Pandit would have Lord Chaitanya lay on his legs. And he was such a great devotee, such a pure heart, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained peaceful. Shankar Pandit would cover Lord Chaitanya's body with some cloth in the winter. But then Shankar Pandit would sometimes fall asleep. And whenever he fell asleep, he found that Lord Chaitanya covered him with that cloth. The servant of the servant of the servant. Lord Chaitanya was always most eager to serve his devotees. And Shankar Pandit became everlastingly famous as the pillow of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, there are unlimited pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in Gambhira. The place where he reciprocated with his devotees. The place where he organized the spreading of the Sankirtan movement throughout the various provinces. The place where he manifested the highest degree of mercy to the conditioned souls. And Gambhira is also the place where in his final pastimes he manifested the sweetest, most intimate pastimes of love for the whole world to understand. And it was here in Gambhira that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu composed Shikshastakam. Although he spoke elaborate teachings to Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, how he instructed Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, with his own hand he only left us 8 verses, the Shikshastakam. So critical. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other acharyas have given elaborate commentaries on these Shikshastakam verses. How critical they are to our lives, step by step, how to actually develop love of God by sincerely developing the qualities in which Krishna is pleased with our chanting of the holy names. from the basic principle of just chanting Harinam to purify the heart, systematically, all the way to the state of the highest ecstasies of Radharani and the gopis, are all contained within Shikshastakam. But you can't jump from one to the other. You have to pass through them all. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. If we really want to beg Krishna, let me just be merciful to me, and let me just be a particle of dust at your lotus feet. We cannot offer that prayer sincerely unless we first realize Nadanamna Janamna Sundarim Kavitam Jagadisha Kamaye. I don't want wealth. I don't want beautiful women or men. I don't want prestige or power or great knowledge of a poet. I don't want liberation from suffering. I only want your service. And we cannot chant that sloka with a proper frame of mind until we realize Trinadapi Sunichena, Taror Ibasihishnana, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadad. To be humble like a blade of grass, tolerant like a tree, ready to offer all respect to others and to expect none in return. In this way we could chant the holy names. And in order to live by that principle, Nam Namakari Bahoda Nija Sarva Shaktish, we have to have faith that Krishna is none different than his name. We have to have faith that all of Krishna's potencies, opulences, and sweetness is within his name. And we have to have the humility to admit before ourselves, before the world, and for God that we have no taste for this chanting. And then progressively, we could actually attain that state where we are begging, when will that day come? Nayanam galadashtu daraya, but when will my voice choke up and tears pour from my eyes and my limbs tremble when I chant your name, my Lord? And from that state develops the next realization. Yugayatam nimeshena chakshusha pravrashayatam sunyayatam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. In your absence, Krishna, I am broken-hearted. The entire creation is like a dreary void without your sight. And then the culmination. Ashlisyava padaratam panashtuno. We can say it, but to really feel it and understand it, we must follow in the footsteps of gopis. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through the Shikshastakam, has taught us the process of how to do so. My Lord, you can embrace me, you can trample on me, or you can make me broken-hearted by not being present before me. You could deal with me in any way you like, because I am your servant unconditionally. That is the culmination of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the scripture that most exalts the supremacy of Radharani's love. Thus our acharyas declare Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the incarnation of Srimad Bhagavatam, the living incarnation, who's teaching by his example how to live the Bhagavatam, by living in a spirit of humble servitude, and always striving to develop deeper attachment to the association of devotees, to Hari Katha, to any menial service, to sharing this message with others, and to the chanting of the holy names. stories of Antya Lila of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita are so high and so deep. They are beyond the realization of any of us. But still, Srila Prabhupada, by his causeless mercy, has given it to us. We heard recently, I believe it was from Devamrita Maharaj, how at the time of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, it took him years to find a single copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's how obscured it had become. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had 4 printing presses going simultaneously in 4 different temples in different places. And he was publishing these books for the world. And Srila Prabhupada gave him that order. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati gave Srila Prabhupada that order. They're both Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada gave us Chaitanya Charitamrita. But he did not want us to take it cheaply. When we are reading these pastimes, we are purified, especially when we hold these narrations in great reverence, way, 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 way above our heads. We cannot touch it. We cannot grasp it. All we could do is look up to it in great awe, knowing how undeserving we are, and just pray that someday, by the mercy of the Lord, the understanding of these pastimes may descend upon us. Yes, the highest ecstasies of love of God in the universal creation were manifested in this small room called Gambhira, in the house of Kashi Mishra, where we are sitting today. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Before ending, I would like to tell a story about this deity, Radha Radhakanta. You know, there is a story of the forefather of King Prataparudra was King Purushottam. And he wanted to marry the daughter of the king of Kanchi. But when the marriage was being arranged, but then the king of Kanchi heard that King Prataparudra was sweeping the street before Jagannath's chariot in Ratha Yatra. Now, no king would ever do such a thing. So he was thinking, I'm not going to marry my daughter to a street sweeper. So he canceled it. Now, Purushottam Raj was very much disturbed. This is the highest thing in my life, sweeping the street before Lord Jagannath, and he's calling me a bungi, a street sweeper? I declare war against him. So he attacked with his soldiers. And the king of Kanchi, with his armies, defeated him. The Ganapati Purushottam was thinking, why was I defeated? How is it? I was just fighting for the name and glory of Lord Jagannath. He was insulting a servant of Jagannath. How did Jagannath allow me to lose this battle? So one wise person asked him, did you ask Jagannath's blessing before you went to battle with him? I forgot. So then he asked Jagannath's blessing, and he received it. So then he organized his military phalanxes again and charged down to Kanchipuram. But on the way he was wondering if Jagannath was really going to protect him this time, because he just lost the same battle, and now he had less soldiers and less military, everything. But on the way, he happened to see this lady on the side of the road selling some prasad of some sort, and she was wearing the rings of Lord Jagannath and Balaram. King Purushottam said, "Where did you get that?" He said, "2 soldiers just came by and gave them to me for some yogurt." And so what did they look like? He said, one had a dark complexion, one had a white complexion. So he understood that Jagannath and Balaram were leading the charge, and he conquered the king of Kanchi. And he took 3 deities with him. One was Shakshi Gopal, the other was a deity of Ganapati, and the other was this deity in this temple. Now he put the deity, Radhakanta, he put Radhakanta in Jagannath's temple. Well, what happened is after some time, Jagannath appeared in a dream to the king. This is some time later. I believe it was this was now King Prataparudra. Jagannath said that whenever my prasad, whenever my bhoga is coming to me, this deity of Radhakanta is smelling it before I get it. So please take him out of this temple, put him somewhere else. So the king didn't know what to do. So King Prataparudra's guru was Kashi Mishra. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was his Shiksha guru, Kashi Mishra was also his guru. So he asked Kashi Mishra what to do. Jagannath doesn't want Radhakanta in his temple anymore. Kashi Mishra said, "I'll take him home with me." And Kashi Mishra, according to the pujaris here, he went and took Radhakanta by the hand, and they walked together. And he put him in this temple. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the 18 years he lived in Puri, he personally worshipped this deity as well. And Kashi Mishra, he prayed for a benediction for Lord Chaitanya, that give me the benediction that I will have no descendants. So this deity belongs to you and your devotees. And Vakreshwar Pandit took charge of this murti. And you know that beautiful story, we love to tell it, about that one day this one very great devotee who was attached to the chanting of the holy name, he was going to the ocean side in the sand to respond to the calls of nature. But he was thinking, it's not proper to chant the holy names while I'm doing that. But he couldn't stop chanting, because he had such a spontaneous attraction. So Hare Krishna, he couldn't stop. So finally with his right hand, with his left hand he was holding his lota, and with his right hand he was grabbing his tongue to hold it somehow or other still. Like, Krishna, Krishna, Ram, 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 Hare, Hare. He couldn't stop. And one little boy, tiny boy, said, "What are you doing?" He explained, "I don't want to offend the holy name." The boy said, "Don't you know that Lord Chaitanya taught us there are no hard and fast rules for chanting the holy names. You can chant anywhere, in any circumstance, and be purified." So the man let go. Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Lord Chaitanya was very happy. He took that little boy and he said, because you have understood the power of the holy name, you are Guru. And his name was Gopal. So he became known as Gopal Guru. Later, Gopal Guru Goswami, one of the great acharyas of our sampradaya, and he took over the worship of Radhakanta. And his disciplic line of Gopal Guru is still taking charge of the worship of the deity here. Gambhira is a place where the greatest treasure of love of God is expanding to the whole world. What is the gift of Lord Chaitanya? What is the gift of the six Goswamis? What is the gift? Now the six Goswamis and Haridas Thakur, there's no mention of them ever coming to Gambhira because they were so humble. They remained at Siddhabakula and Lord Chaitanya would go to them. What is the gift of these acharyas? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada. From this Gambhira, we understand that we're not talking just about an ordinary religion of an almighty God who throws thunderbolts on the wicked and promotes others to heaven. The intimate extent of the loving reciprocation between the Lord and his devotees was revealed here in Gambhira. That is the treasure of what the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is about. When we develop even an infinitesimal little particle from a drop of understanding of who Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really was, then the thought of becoming a great yogi, the thought of liberation into impersonal Brahman, has no appeal whatsoever. In fact, it's repulsive if it distracts us away from the nectar of Vrindavan. So let us take within our heart a very grateful experience today for what we have received, how valuable it really is, and what a small price there is to receive it. But even that small price is so much for us. Do you have that experience? Lord Chaitanya came to give the greatest thing for the cheapest price. But even the cheapest price seems like so much to us, people of Kali Yuga. Chanting 16 rounds, too much. How will I do it? Following these 4 regulative principles, it's just basic humanity. Too much. How will I do it? Always remember Krishna, the most blissful experience in all of existence, but it's so difficult. Let us pray here in Gambhira today that we take very, very seriously. More serious than our business, more serious than our families, more serious than our brahmachari positions, more serious than our health, our wealth, or our life. That's the price. Just to take this gift as the most serious thing. If we just do that, Krishna will empower us to overcome all obstacles. That one thing. To make our Krishna consciousness a priority. To reciprocate with the Lord's mercy as my priority in life. To take it seriously. Take nothing for granted. That's all that's required. Krishna will empower us all. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jayo Jayo Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Sharanavandana. Today we dedicate this yatra to His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj and to His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj and to His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and to His Holiness Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj and to His Grace Stoka Krishna Prabhu, and to all the great Vaishnavas who have given their life in the service of Lord Jagannath. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Sharanavandana. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Sharanavandana. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Sharanavandana. Clap your hands, please. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Sharanavandana. Nilachale Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadara Shri Jagannath Swami ki Nilachale Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadara Nadia Nagare Danda Kamandaluka Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Nadia Nagare Danda Kamandaluka Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan kore jaya Sarana Vandana Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan kore jaya Sarana Vandana Dole Purabe Ravana Badila Dole Purabe Ravana Badila Goloke vai bhavlila prakasha korila Shri Radha Gopinath ki Goloke vai bhavlila prakasha korila Haribo Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan kore jaya Sarana Vandana Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Charana Vandana Sri Radha Bhave Ede Gora Avatara Sri Radha Bhave Ede Gora Avatara Sri Radharani ki jai. Hare Krishna Nam Gora Kodila Prachar Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Hare Krishna Nam Gora Kodila Prachar everybody Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Charana Vandana Haribo Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Charana Vandana Vasudeva Gosha Bole Kori Jodaha Vasudeva Gosha Bole Kori Jodaha Jai Gora Say Krishna Say Jagannath Jai Gora Say Krishna Say Jagannath Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Shri Radha Madhava ki Shri Jagannath Swami ki Shri Gaur Premanandi Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Much louder, please. Say Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Hey, Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan Korecha Sharanavana. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan Korecha Sharanavana. Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Louder, please. Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Everybody. Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Everybody. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. Oh, Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan Korecha Sharanavana. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Vrindavan Korecha Sharanavana. Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Everybody. Jai Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Everybody. Haribo! Krishna, Jai Jagannath. Jai Gaura Sai Krishna, Jai Jagannath. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Sharanavandana. Jayo Jayo Jagannatha Sachidanandana Tribhuvane Korecha Sharanavandana.